of you guys in Philadelphia have any nails left? Because mine are, well, pretty close to being done. Sam Bradford, DeMarco Murray, Jordan Matthews, the biggest lightning rods in Philadelphia, were the ones providing the thunder in overtime. And the only thing that Jordan Matthews dropped was the mic in the end zone after scoring the game-winning touchdown for a 33-27 overtime win in Big D on Sunday night. Mike Owens, Jeremy Burton, they're both here. I'm Adrian Fedque. So how many times you guys watched that game-winning score? Because I had it on repeat like all freaking night.
Oh, yeah, all night, all day. Couldn't even sleep after the big win last night. Just kept watching that game-winning touchdown on repeat, like you said. And really a gutsy performance from this Eagles team. And really one of the first games this season where we really feel like we're heading in the right direction here.
Oh man, I had to switch to Merrill Reese, and I listened to that call multiple times because I'm sorry, Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth don't do it for me. But I mean, great win, huge win in the division. We're half the game out now. We got a soft underbelly part of our schedule coming up. These next 3 winnable games. Hopefully, we can take this momentum. And Sam looked good. Defense looked good. I think we can keep this riding. The win did come with a big blow, and we lost my boy Jordan Hicks, torn pec muscle, out for the year. Luckily, we have some depth there. Kiko's coming back, hopefully healthy. They just kind of reacclimated him last night, so he would be, I think, the guy to step up in his place. But overall, great win, guys.
Yeah, I mean, these are the kind of games you live for as a fan. Your stomach's churning, the butterflies are churning, and then you feel that relief and excitement and that adrenaline rush when they score that game-winning touchdown. I mean, my stomach was churning basically after Dallas scored that first touchdown. It didn't go away. It just lingered and it kept getting worse, and then pure ecstasy when Matthews crossed the goal line.
Yeah, well, I mean, these are the games you live for as a fan, but they're also the games that you almost die from. I mean, close to having a heart attack a few times there. Just so many ups and downs, especially late in the fourth quarter there, and then in overtime. Even with the coin toss in overtime, you always want to win the coin toss because you want to get the ball first. So, man, it was a roller coaster ride, and it was either going to end up being a huge win for the Eagles or really a devastating loss. And, well, it ended up being really just a gigantic win.
Yeah, I mean, my blood pressure was through the roof the entire game. I mean, 7-7 at halftime. It was back and forth in the second half. I mean, at least we finally we did get into overtime. Unfortunately, we could have won it in regulation. There was a couple awful calls. Ed Hockley's crew was just felt like calling pass interference time after time. I swear they were getting paid by Jerry Jones. But we were able to win the coin toss in overtime, and that was just to take the ball 80 yards down the field and just win the game. I mean, everybody looked great on that overtime drive. Offensive line, good protection. Sam Bradford stepped up in the pocket, threw the balls on point. I mean, it was just a great all-around effort to pull out the win.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wrote a bunch of things down, and I wrote down Hockley, and all I put down was bicep poses because he just wanted some air time. That's all that was. That's what the PI calls were because Firebacks, well, the coverage was pretty good. I mean, you got 2 physical guys going at each other. Let them play. Come on, guys. So, let's talk about Bradford, Murray, Matthews. Let's kind of intertwine all of them and talk about that final drive because that final drive was very, very impressive. You started out with like this false start, so you get immediate bad taste in your mouth, but then they run the outside zone to perfection. Murray looking a lot more decisive, a lot more fresh, this game, and hitting the hole hard. The blocking was great. Dennis Kelly had a really good game. This offensive line was in sync all game. and overtime it really paid off. Murray was a monster, and then what can you say about the touchdown pass?
Well, yeah, I mean, with Murray, this is kind of what we've been waiting for out of Murray, is to see him look like his old self when he was with the Cowboys, especially last year when he led the league in rushing yards. So we kind of got to see that old Murray this game, and especially on that final drive in overtime, Murray really just did an outstanding job. And yeah, you definitely gotta give credit to Bradford because he delivered too. But I think really, kind of the guy that is overlooked here is Murray because he really carried the way on that game-winning drive in overtime.
Yeah, you mentioned the first play of the game, and we started 1st and 15 because of the false start, and you go little. Murray takes it 14 yards, and it's 2nd and 1. So, and great offensive line did a great job, and the big name, Jordan Matthews has been getting so much heat for all these drops and everything. So to see him secure like 9 balls and 133 yards with the winning touchdown, I mean, I felt so happy for him. And, the way he carries himself, he's such a professional guy, such a young guy. He's only 2nd year. But, in his post game, he's just like, I'm doing my job. I'm supposed to do that. He's not like, he didn't take it as like a huge deal. He's just like, yeah, well, that's what I expect myself every time. He's the first one in, last one to leave the facility, that kind of great work ethic. So it was great to see the hard work pay off and for him to have such a big game and such an impactful touchdown and coming from, and it's got to be a confidence booster for Bradford and everybody on the offense.
Yeah, DeMarco Murray, 161 total yards, 83 yards on the ground, 78 through receiving, had 4.6 yards per carry. Sam Bradford, 25 of 36, 295 yards with a touchdown, quarterback rating of 103.4 for all you stat geeks out there. Jordan Matthews, like Jeremy said, 9 receptions for 133 yards. This was great, to see because once again the defense kind of was a little bit lackluster. It wasn't great or anything. They didn't force the turnovers in this one, so the offense really had to step up, and they did. They really did for the most part.
Yeah, with the defense, this is really the 2nd game in a row now that our run defense has struggled a little bit. And we struggled here again against Darren McFadden. McFadden really had some success against us. So it put us into a situation where the offense was going to have to step up because Cowboys also got Beasley going. So, it came down to some key moments for Bradford really in his Eagles career here. And Bradford, probably put up his best performance in an Eagles uniform. So it was good to see Bradford maybe start to turn the corner here. It's really been rough for him, first half of the season. So maybe this is a step going forward. First half, we kind of saw a skittish Bradford. But in this game, it looked like Bradford was comfortable back there in the pocket and, delivering his passes with accuracy. That's the biggest thing. He's not throwing the ball behind receivers or too high. He was putting it right on point. So hopefully this is, a big stepping block going forward.
And it only took him 8 games, right? That's what we said in the beginning of the year. Like, all right, I'll give him half the season. We'll give him half the season. Well, we're there. And finally put together, I think, the last 2 weeks, arguably his best quarterback play. The crazy stats aren't there with the touchdowns, but he delivered when he had to, and he scored a lot through the ground game. So, but Bradford has looked a lot better, more poised in the pocket. He's stepping up when he has to. Better footwork in the game-winning pass to Matthews. Just a little step and a half up to get past. If he didn't step up, Greg Hardy was right there. He would have got his paws on the ball and could have caused a fumble. But no, Bradford stepped up just in time, threw a perfect dart right in stride so Matthews can do something after the catch, and then a couple great blocks, Brent Selleck on Hardy to allow Sam to throw it. A great block down the field by Josh Huff of all people, by the end zone,
Don't ever
by
mention
the
his
goal line, to kind of allow him to get in. I know you hate Huff, but he did have a decent block to seal that.
Josh Huff. He should have been cut the moment he dropped that ball near the goal line, because if that ball would have been picked off.
Oh.
All right, yeah, let's talk about Brad for a little bit. I think his last two games have been his two best games of the year. I think his four best games have come in the last 5 games. The only one that wasn't really great was the Giants game. So I am seeing strides, and I'm hoping you people in Philadelphia kind of see a little bit too. This doesn't mean he's back or anything. He's still got a lot of work left to do. But I liked to see the calmness in the pocket. That's what I like to see. Because like Jeremy said, he was skittish earlier on in the year, and now he's looking more confident. And the other thing I'm seeing too is he's got some quick little feet when he's escaping the pocket. I mean, he's a little quicker than I thought he was. Trying to get around the edge rusher to throw the ball downfield. So. I like what I saw from Bradford yesterday. I liked it a lot. I thought he was really good.
Yeah, well, after the Panthers game, we were, talking about what Bradford needs to do to get better after the bye week, and he did just about everything. He did a nice job of really increasing his pocket presence. The other thing we talked about is maybe him running a little bit more or trying to, elude the pressure, get outside the pocket. He did that. Other thing we talked about is, limiting the turnovers. Well, he definitely did that in this Cowboys game. And the other thing, he just showed confidence, and that's really the key there with Bradford. And what I really like from Bradford is on that final play in overtime, the game-winning touchdown right before it happened, after they reviewed to see if Matthews had fumbled the ball, Bradford went over to Jordan Matthews and said, look, get ready. I'm throwing you the ball, and we're going to win the game right here. So when you talk about a leader, that's what you want to see. So it's really good to see that Bradford was able to take that leadership role in a key situation.
Yeah, that was great. I heard that I heard him say that in the post game. Yeah, and it's definitely a big step to see him not only play better on the field, but also amongst the teammates and in the huddle. It's what you want in a quarterback. It's the first time I've seen him all year. He kind of looks like he could lead, be a franchise quarterback. I mean, that's a kind of a big term to say, but the jury's still out on him. It's only a couple good games, but it appears to be he's turning around. I haven't seen him like deer in the headlights kind of look, the scared, skittish Bradford from earlier in the season. I mean, this guy did come back from 2 ACL surgeries. He hasn't played a meaningful game in 2 years since this year. So, you got to give the guy a little bit of a leash, and now hopefully he's halfway through the season that he finally found his stride, and both on the field and off the field and in the locker room, being that guy and seeing now why Chip brought him here.
Yeah, we did give him a leash, and I took a lot of heat on Twitter for this. What do you mean he gets 8 games? What the hell are you talking about? That's half the season. Like, people not understanding the lengthy process it takes to get back into the swing of things, and they just assume that what they saw the first 4 or 5 games, that's what they were going to see. They just don't understand. So let's talk about some of his throws that he made in the second half, because he was tremendous. That wheel route to Ertz was a thing of beauty. He had a couple where he was the play-action bootleg rolling out to the right, hitting Matthews along the sideline. The deep crossing routes to Matthews, putting it right on the money. He was just putting the ball on the proper shoulder and allowing his receivers to maximize their yards after the catch. And that's what we kept hearing about Bradford all offseason, and we finally saw some of it. And I just hope it continues. I hope this isn't like some inconsistency again. I want to see positive signs. I just keep moving forward in the process.
Yeah, well, Chip Kelly kind of brought up a great analogy to go to your point here with Bradford. Today, Chip Kelly said at his press conference that it's like it's like they were all watching a movie together, and then Bradford showed up halfway through the movie. And, Bradford's trying to catch up on the movie, what happened in the first half of the movie. And now it seems like he's caught up, he knows what's going on, and it seems like he's comfortable. But I think that the main thing here with Bradford is that the Eagles' ability to run the ball the past 4 games can't be overlooked. That's really a big part of his success right now. And if they can continue to run the ball like they are, it's going to take a lot of pressure off Bradford. And I think what happened with Bradford here was early on in the season, I think that he tried to do way too much for what they needed him to do. They really just need him to go out, make the accurate passes, and not turn the ball over. So if he can be a clean quarterback and just make the passes when needed, and if they can run for at least 150 a game, then they're going to be in good shape.
Yeah, totally agree, Mike. The running game has, definitely helped Sam Bradford, and the play action, keeps the defense honest and helps you establish the run. It always helps open up the passing game. So, it's good to see. You just hope we can keep it up. I didn't like how Chip called the same exact play to start the game. A little swing pass for 0 yards, patented throw. I'd like to see him, establish more of a rhythm early, get Sam Bradford going earlier and the running game going earlier, and not just be a second half team. So there's obviously still a lot we can take from this game to fix, but there are also a lot of positives, and we just hope that we can clear up those negatives and keep moving forward. These next 3 games seem very winnable.
Yeah, we'll get back to that point in a little bit because the first half pissed me off. It really did. The play calling was awful. But we'll get back to that. Let's talk about the fourth quarter and just the swings of momentum. I mean, that pendulum was swinging back and forth, crazy shenanigans. It was insane. You had the Jordan Hicks pick, so you feel the euphoria of that, and then Lucky Whitehead decides to go 80 yards on the ensuing kickoff. Matt Castle throws this duck, this Hail Mary that Des Bryant somehow comes down with in the end zone. I mean, that's the ball that should have been intercepted. They get a lucky break, and that ties the game at 21. And then what else did you have? You had Sturgis kicking a 53-yard field goal. He still stinks, by the way. I don't care. So you had that. You had all those little ticky-tack PI calls on Byron Maxwell. And then the touchdown in overtime. Just so many swings of momentum, constantly biting your nails, the stomach's churning. Oh, man, it was a crazy fourth quarter. One of the craziest fourth quarters I've seen in a while.
Yeah, well, I mean, the best part about the Sturgis field goal was he didn't even know how to react to it. That was the best part. He's never made a field goal like that in such a big situation that he didn't know what to do. So he was kind of like just not even – he was excited, but he was like telling everyone to calm down. There's still time left in the game. So he was trying to be like a coach there. Funny to see. But, yeah, I really was shocked. I didn't think that Sturgis field goal was going in at all. And then on the other end, like the Cowboys, Bailey never misses a field goal. I mean, he clanks it off the upright and it goes in somehow. Just so many swings of emotions, like you said. But, yeah, it was funny to see Sturgis react to his made field goal.
He was like so excited, like cheering, like whoa, and then he was just like, wait, he's doing this motion. Calm down, guys. Wait, there's still a minute somewhere. I got a fun fact for you though. Caleb Sturgis is the first Eagles kicker to make back-to-back games have a field goal made of 52 yards or more since 1971. Tom Dempsey. There's a fun fact for you. Caleb Sturgis is in the record books, Adrian. How do you feel about that?
it's abysmal. It's a joke. They got to put an asterisk next to it. That's what they got to do. Yeah, I mean, but hey, he made the kick. He made it. So he's never gonna win my heart because of the Washington game. He's never gonna win it. So it doesn't matter what he does. He can kick as many 53-yard field goals as he wants. It doesn't matter. He's already lost my heart. It's gone. All right, it's done. What else do we want to talk about? I was gonna say something I completely forgot. Let's see. Okay. The Eagles right now are outscoring teams 126-83 in the second half. It's pretty incredible. So basically, Chip Kelly and Andy Reid are complete opposites. Chip cannot call. His scripture of the first 15 plays are absolutely awful. But he makes the proper in-game adjustments, and he gets a lot more aggressive in the second half, and then that's when the Eagles kind of take off. So. What are you guys' thoughts on how they continually just beat teams up in the second half? I mean, I guess the system has to do something with it because that's when teams get tired in the running game. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Like every second half, we're putting up points and we can't do anything in the first 30 minutes.
Well, I tell you, you wait all day for these games, especially a Sunday night game or a Monday night game, and especially after a bye week, and you're thinking, all right, you would think that Chip Kelly would have sat down during the bye week, had his smoothie, and not draw up a swing pass to DeMarco Murray on the first play of the game. After watching all the previous games, knowing that it only gets 1 or 2 yards every time. But no, he still decided to do it. And in typical Eagles fashion, under Chip Kelly this season, they decided that they were going to get 2 consecutive 3-and-outs on the opening possession because they got lucky with it running into the punter call. So I don't know what it is about this team, but they got to figure something out because they just get off the dreadful starts. And against good teams, you're not going to be able to bounce back. And, you kind of saw that against Carolina. They were close with Carolina, but the bad start, it really hurt them. So got to figure out a way where they can maybe even get 7 points in the first quarter. These first quarters, just awful.
Yeah, if you did that to a team like New England, you would be down 35-0 before you can even blink an eye. The first ever 6-and-out I've ever seen in my life. To start off the game after a bye week, like, come on, Chip. You can't think of something a little better than calling your swing pass on the first play. That I was seriously about to just throw something at the TV. It was that bad. I had to really I couldn't barely contain myself. But you got to do something about these slow starts. You can't just play half of a game. You're not going to go anywhere in the playoffs against a playoff team. This is the lowly Cowboys here, so we were lucky to pull it out. But having 7 points at halftime for a Chip Kelly offense, no, that's not going to work. I'm just going to have to figure out a way to play the whole game, not just like you said with Andy Reid, we always got a touchdown, it seemed, on that first drive. Always. We were always up 7-0, and then he would have horrible time management and horrible, be horrible down the stretch in the end of the game. So at least good thing about Chip is, he's finishing the games strong, it seems. Like you said, we've outscored teams by over 40 points in the second half. So, that's at least a good sign. But, we got to work on playing all 4 quarters here.
Yeah, the Eagles have been outscored 40-10 in the first quarter, and that is all on Chip Kelly. It is. It just is. His play calling, it sucks. His play calling in the first half stinks. It's terrible. And that swing pass to open up the game put such a bad taste in my mouth. I mean, granted, in overtime, they ran the swing pass, and they actually got 9 yards on it, which was a season high. But, I track this play. I go in, game out. I track the play, and it literally never gets more than 3 yards. And they continually call it on the opening drive, the opening play of the game. And the that really bothers me with the play calling is how conservative he is. Especially on third down, you have like a 3rd and 8, and you're running a little crossing route, which is like 4 yards, before the sticks, and you just expect the receiver to go get that first down. You got to have routes beyond the sticks. That's something that's a big like pet peeve of mine when it comes to Chip's play calling. I don't think it's necessarily Bradford. I think it's Chip's play calling, and it needs to get better. I mean, what can you say? I mean, I don't understand how Chip doesn't see this. Because like I'm just a fan. Like we're just fans. You're an NFL coach, and your team's getting blitzed in the first quarter, and you're still not changing your habits. It's the same shit. It's the same plays every goddamn game. Same play calls. And, I'm getting sick of it. I love Charles, but the play calling has to change.
Yeah, well, I mean, every NFL coach is a bit stubborn, and, well, we know that Andy Reid was stubborn, and this is where Chip Kelly is stubborn, and he's got an ego. And it's a part that I think if he wants to improve as a coach in this league, it's something that he's going to have to look at, at the mirror at himself and figure out how he can improve these starts to a game. And I've been saying this, but I really think if they want to get better starting out the game on offense, they got to go to a huddle, or they either got to take it really slow, and they got to get into a rhythm first on offense. And I'll tell you what, getting into a rhythm does not involve that swing pass to DeMarco Murray. It's really the worst possible way that they could ever start a game, because at least a running play would at least get you 3 yards. So yeah, I don't understand it. And like we're saying, it's a good thing that Chip Kelly can adjust, but the fact that he starts off so slow, like you guys were saying, down the line, playoff time, I mean, you can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a problem. It is nice to see that he can adjust. Like, I believe our first scoring drive, or there was one drive where we literally ran like several running plays from under center, and we just pounded the ball, and we had a sustained drive there. It was much better than the first drive, obviously. So got to clean that up. Got to figure out how to get into a rhythm faster. I mean, I remember when Chip first came in the league, he would just be balls to the wall like right away. But now I think it's just he's still calling the same things, and defensive coordinators are realizing what he's calling, and like Adrian said, we're just fans and we can see this shit. So when you think of professional coordinators and professional athletes, I mean, what are you thinking? You can definitely do a much better job with that, especially being the so-called genius that he calls himself. So we gotta fix that, Chip.
Yeah, no, they definitely do, because you can get away with this when you play a 2-6 Dallas team, but we saw it bite us in the ass in Week 1 against Atlanta. You can't do this shit in the playoffs, and New England, they're going to be up 21-0 before you know it. So they got to get off to better starts. I mean, it just what can I say? What can I say? All right, let's talk about Dallas just a little bit, because I thought they played really well. They're a 2-6 team, but they didn't play like they were 2-6. Matt Castle had a really good game, converted a lot of third downs. Cole Beasley was just killing us. I mean, so quick out of his breaks, the little jerk routes, little pivot routes he was running. I will give Billy Davis some credit, though. He made an adjustment, because Malcolm Jenkins playing in the slot against Cole Beasley, that was a mismatch. So later on in the game, he put E.J. Biggers on him. I still don't like E.J. Biggers, but he did make a really nice play on a 3rd and 6 where he batted the ball away, and that prevented a potential touchdown drive. They settled for a field goal. So E.J. Biggers was okay yesterday. I still try not using his name on Twitter, because the B and the N are way too close to each other on the keyboard. But yeah, I thought he played well.
Yeah, you're right though. This was definitely a game that you have to give Cowboys credit. I thought that the Cowboys came in with a good game plan, and Matt Castle did a nice job of executing it. The Cowboys, this was obviously a big game for them too. If the Cowboys would have won this game, it would have been a big win for them and a devastating loss for us because they would have been tied with us, but they would have beaten us, twice head to head. So Dallas was really fighting for this season in this game because they knew if they lost this game, they're going to pretty much have to run the table when Romo gets back. So their backs were up against the wall. But this was also a good win for us because the Eagles' offense was going against a pretty good Cowboys defensive line, and especially going against Greg Hardy. Thought the Eagles did an outstanding job of really shutting him down. Hardy, I mean, we all know his history here, but obviously the Eagles were not happy with him and kind of shocked the way that Dennis Kelly played. Dennis Kelly did a nice job when he was lined up against him. So yeah, you really got to give credit to both teams here. This was a classic, Eagles Cowboys game. Came down to the wire, hard fought. Both teams wanted this one bad.
Yeah, it was a huge. I mean, you can't deny how huge this game was for both teams. Arguably Cowboys season is all but, their playoff hopes are all but like shattered. If they lose one more game before Romo gets back, I mean, I think they're toast. So we buried them in the cellar. We were, it was a classic roller coaster, hard fought NFC East rivalry, but we were lucky to come out on top. And you explained the battle in the trenches. That's where I think games are won and lost. And I think we won the battle between the offensive line and defensive line. And our offensive line played great against their front. We talked about Greg Hardy and what a presence he is, but Lane Johnson and had his eyes out for him, and he wanted to give him a little extra shot anytime he could because we all know how Greg Hardy is such a punk and he deserves to not be playing in the NFL. So, it was nice to see, without Jason Peters, I was honestly really worried about protecting Sam and getting, run blocking and pass blocking going. But Dennis Kelly, Tobin, they all stepped up very well. And, obviously we ran for over 170 total yards. Sam was efficient. So, got to give credit to the offensive line and winning the battle in the trenches. I think that's a big reason why we won the game.
Yeah, huge reason why they won the game, and that really is a underrated Dallas defensive line. DeMarcus Lawrence is emerging, Tyrone Crawford is a stud, Greg Hardy obviously we know what he can do. So it's a pretty good D line, and the Eagles offensive line, no Jason Peters, Lane Johnson starts at left tackle, Dennis Kelly, great job at right tackle. They did a really good job of picking up the stunts that the Cowboys did. Like the first game. We remember the first game. They were just consistently penetrating into the backfield. Well, we didn't see that on Sunday night. The stunts weren't working. They were blocked perfectly. So, this is a perfect example of why execution matters because, I remember when we were talking about, the week 2 thing, the big topic of conversation was Chip's offense being predictable. Well, a lot of offenses are predictable. You have unlimited access to all the tapes. You're going to know the tendencies of every offense. And you look back in the 60s, and Vince Lombardi, all he pretty much ran was that sweep play. So when people were saying, oh, Chip's offense is predictable, all this, I thought it was just full of shit. They just didn't execute. Execution really is the key. And, obviously, they executed last night. They ran a lot of the outside zone kind of stuff, and they totaled 172 yards on the ground. I mean, offensive line was great. What can you say?
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line was really outstanding. And, Dennis Kelly was probably one of the main stars along that offensive line. And coming into the game, I was really worried about him. I mean, making his first start there at right tackle. He usually plays guard, so a huge question mark coming into the game, but he really stepped up big time, and it was a game where the Eagles needed him to step up with Jason Peters being out. So definitely a positive that we could get through this game without Peters, and we can get Peters back, and then you're back with Peters and Johnson as your tackles. So that's a good thing. So yeah, definitely a good thing going forward here for the offensive line. And like I was saying, the past few weeks, offensive line has really come together and, been able to really get out and get those blocks, doing a good job of pulling. And, well, it's really paying off for Murray and Matthews right now in the backfield.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great to see. I saw Dennis Kelly set the edge a couple times. That he did a really good job on that final drive in overtime. It's nice to see that when we have an injury in the offensive line that we do have some depth there and somebody can step up and still be able to block well enough for us to establish our running game and protect Bradford. So as long as they keep playing like that and Bradford keeps his jersey clean and we can continue to pound the ball on the ground, I see our offense having a lot of success.
Yeah, and let's also give credit to the tight ends. The Eagles were using 2 tight end sets on the outside zone plays, and Selleck was doing a really good job in the run game. So, shout out to the tight ends too. Sometimes they don't get the love. Everyone kind of thinks of the tight end as being a receiver, but that's just half the job. You got to be able to block too. And Selleck, Ertz, they did a good job.
Yeah, well, Eagles have really been able to utilize this two tight end set that past few weeks, and it's really working out for them. And the nice part with the Eagles and their tight end situation is you got Selleck, who is mainly a blocker, and then you got Ertz, who's a pass catcher, and Ertz has also worked on his blocking, so he's definitely improved in that area. So when you have both those guys on the field at the same time, well, that's going to help you out big time.
Yeah, it was really nice to see, especially Brent, because that first Dallas game, I mean, might have been the worst I've ever seen Brent Selleck in his block, and he's known to be a great blocker. And he was god awful in that first Cowboys game. So to see him really block well, and especially in that game-winning throw, he was on Hardy at the time, and he gave Sam just enough time to step up in the pocket and deliver that throw to Matthews. So it was, of all people, it was great seeing Selleck, a great team guy, just the most stand-up professional veteran you could ask for. It was great seeing Selleck have a big game blocking.
Yeah, one of the things I didn't like about the Carolina game was the fact that we threw the ball 43 times and ran it only 30. Well, in this one, we ran it 35 times and threw it 36. And I think, besides the overtime drive, my favorite drive of the game was start of the second half, because we went and ran the ball like 4, 5, 6 straight times and went right down the field. This is the kind of ratio that I've been looking for kind of all year. We hear all offseason how we're going to look like the Oregon Ducks. We're going to pound the ball down people's throats, but Chip's been kind of pass crazy. But in this one, really stuck to the run, and obviously huge rewards due to it.
Yeah, and it was nice to see them really kind of get that combination, the workload figured out with Matthews and Murray. This was, really the first game where I felt like they did a nice job of rotating those two in there. So I think they got to continue to keep up that, combination there. I think it ended up, let's see, so Murray ended up with 18 carries and Matthews had 11. So they got to, if they can continue that, then, that seems like a good combination to have.
Yeah, I think if we can run the ball like we did yesterday, I think we broke it up perfectly. Like you said, 18 carries for Murray, 11 for Matthews, I believe 5 for Sproles was in there too for like 20-some yards. Ryan Matthews led the yards per carry. He was right on his average with 6.1 a carry. So for the whole year, that's been his average. He's one of the tops in the league, actually, in yards per carry. So I'd still say you can get Matthews the ball a little bit more, but probably 10 to 12, 10 to 15 touches for him. I'll give Murray more than 20 touches if we can, but it's a pretty good ratio that we did last night, and obviously it worked out. We ran for over 170 yards, so 170 yards. So it was a great effort.
Yeah, and the thing with Matthews, we kind of saw last night why he can't really be the lead guy. I know everybody wants him to be the lead guy, but he can't catch the ball. So you can run it all you want, but you can't catch the ball. And the thing with him too is once he gets kind of 20 to 25 carries a game, that's kind of when he gets hurt. He is kind of a fragile back. So I like keeping him at like 10 to 12. I think that's perfect. Let him average his 6 yards per carry. But DeMarco's the guy. DeMarco's the guy you want. I mean, he's running a lot better. I think people still have the previous Dallas game in their minds when they think of Murray, and they still think he's kind of a bust. But hopefully after last night, their minds kind of changed in that aspect.
So you're saying that Chip Kelly might have a bias because DeMarco Murray can catch that swing pass, but Ryan Matthews can't. There we go. We figured it out.
Yeah, that's what he does.
That was a beautiful wheel route, though, he ran.
Oh. That was a pinpoint. Bradford put that right in the breadbasket, man. Oh, yeah. That was a thing of beauty, right over the defender's outstretched hands. That was great. Yeah, so you can definitely see that Murray knows how to catch the ball. And I guess that's why, like Mike said, I guess that's the reason why Matthews isn't getting the ball more. He can't catch. Dropped another one last night.
Oh, boy. Let's talk about Jordan Hicks now, because, this is a big injury, the pec injury that he has. I believe he had, 11 tackles last night with that interception return for a touchdown. He was tied for the NFL league lead in forced fumbles, which is kind of extraordinary because he hasn't played the whole season. This is a big loss, but at the same time, you do have Kiko Alonso coming back. You're going to have DeMarco Ryans coming back, and you have Michael Kendrick. So you have those three guys, but god damn, man. Hicks was playing like a top 5 linebacker in the league, and that's not even an exaggeration. That's how good the kid was. You play better than Kiko.
Yeah, it's crazy because coming into the season, we only talked about the top 3 with our linebackers. We didn't even talk about Jordan Hicks. But, Jordan Hicks, when he had to step into duty week 2 against the Cowboys, it just started from there where he knocked Romo out for a few weeks, put him on short-term IR, and this game he gets the key interception return for a touchdown. So, yeah, Jordan Hicks, he won the heart over of all the Philadelphia fans by becoming a Cowboy killer in his first 2 games against the Cowboys. So, yeah, people will always love him from here on out. So it's really tough to see him go out for the year, but like Adrian was saying, you still got the top 3 inside linebackers that we talked about heading into the season, so that will help. But definitely, this is something that you can't overlook.
And Adrian hated the draft pick when we drafted him in the 3rd round this year. He hated him. You gave him no love. Oh man, I love watching Jordan Hicks, man. I feel so bad for the kid. He holds himself together so well too. Like in the post game, he established himself as a leader already. The defensive coordinator, Billy Davis, gave him the headset and the helmet. He was the leader on the defense. He was making the reads, calling the plays. Like that's where Hicks was his guy. And to step up like that as a 22-year-old kid, that's really impressive. And he would have easily gotten the defensive rookie of the year, and I don't even think it would have been close. Like you said, leads our team. He led our team in tackles, up there in forced fumbles. Obviously, had the pick 6, huge play this week. He's gonna be a major loss, but like you said, we're getting healthier there. DeMarco and Kiko should be coming back. Well, Kiko is back. DeMarco should be back. Kendricks has another game under his belt. Kendricks looked a lot better last night. it's you just hope that Kendricks has dealt with injuries. All these linebackers have dealt with injuries. That's the problem. So you just can't have another one flare up now. I mean, Hicks has been the healthiest one since he came in when Kiko went out in week 2. So we just hope that everybody can stay healthy and we at least have our big three with Ryans, Kendricks, and Kiko there.
Yeah, I mean, Hicks was literally a needle in a haystack, a diamond in the rough, whatever saying you want to use. Because this kid was nowhere on anyone's linebacker rankings, pre-draft. I did all my stuff. I did the scouting. And, I knew who Jordan Hicks kind of was, but I didn't really, extensively kind of scout him or anything. And, and he just was nowhere on anyone's radar. And then to see him get drafted in the 3rd round, you're just like, why? Like, what are they doing? They have all those inside linebackers, and they need offensive line help. But, obviously Chip saw something in the kid. And I'm curious to see how Kiko's coverage skills are, because this is what he's known for. And Hicks's coverage, I mean, he's outstanding. He's always around the ball. And, Jason Witt, he was on Jason Witten. He was on McFadden a couple times. And, on that pick 6, McFadden really ran a lazy route, and Hicks just jumped right in front. I mean, the coverage is what they're going to miss.
Yeah, no, big time. So really the hope is that Alonzo will get back to his former self like he was his rookie year with the Bills, and that'll really help out in the coverage where Jordan Hicks was outstanding. And then you hope with getting DeMarco Ryans back, DeMarco then takes over that leadership role, good against the run. And then you got Kendricks, good sideline to sideline, and Kendricks obviously good at getting to the quarterback like he did last night.
Yeah, I think Kiko and Kendricks best fit the skill set that Hicks had that we're losing, in coverage, as far as coverage goes and speed. And then hopefully with DeMarco coming back, he'll be back in the Mufasa role. As it's kind of funny, they call Jordan Hicks Simba and DeMarco Ryans Mufasa because obviously the veteran taught Hicks to be as good as he can be, and that was huge. And I'm sure DeMarco Ryans was a big influence on how Hicks has been playing this year and getting to know the defense. So, luckily we do have those guys to back them up, and we still have some depth at linebacker there. We just hope that we don't have another injury, or that'll be really devastating. We'll be seeing a lot more of Najee Good and Emmanuel Acho, who we just signed today. Now that Hicks is on the IR, and we don't want that. They're more special teams players.
Yeah. And it's definitely not a coincidence that the Eagles have now allowed back-to-back 100-yard rushers without Ryans in the lineup. I mean, that's not a coincidence there. I want to move on to Brandon Graham, because Brandon Graham had a really, really good game last night.
Yes, he did.
And, it's a shame that we've waited this late because he deserves a lot more recognition. But, whatever. All right, so the things I was seeing with Graham, he usually likes to bull rush Tyron Smith, and the things he was doing yesterday, he was faking the bull rush and going outside the shoulders. So, really turning the corner. And he made Tyron Smith his bitch last night.
Yeah, and, Tyron Smith's not a bad tackle there, so Brandon Graham did a really nice job. Brandon Graham is actually a guy that's having a quietly good season. He's not really getting a lot of recognition, but seems like he's always at the quarterback or always making a key play at a key moment. And he did that again last night. So got to give it up to Brandon Graham. He's having a pretty good year.
Yeah, and Smith is one of the better left tackles in the league. I mean, he's pretty well known, and the Cowboys' offensive line is great all around. So to see Brandon Graham, get that pressure and trying different moves, and he did have a forced fumble, but it wasn't recovered. It was recovered by the Cowboys. But you just see him get at the quarterback there, and that's huge because we need help besides Connor Barwin and Vinny Curry and all those guys that we need to get to the quarterback. It's a big part of playing defense, and it helps the secondary out. The secondary can't. Corners can't cover for 10 seconds. We got to get to the quarterback, so to help, to help the defense out all around.
Yeah, and Mike was talking about how he's kind of having a quiet season. It's because he's not really putting up sack totals, and the casual fan, they kind of look at the sack totals, not really understanding that there's more than just putting up sack totals. Even just pressuring the quarterback, hitting him. And Graham plays the run really well. That's something he's done really good this season, and his coverage continues to get better, which is just remarkable to me because I remember how bad he was a couple years ago. So yeah, man, Graham just got to show him some love, and that's that. I hope. Well, I was a little bit perturbed that we didn't get more pressure on Castle. I would thought we'd get more. But whatever. They still won the game. But there are some things they got to work on defense because that this can't be just swept under the rug. That this defense last 2 weeks hasn't been that good, and they need to get better.
Yeah, no, they definitely do. They've got some things that they need to improve on. The key is. Still, they're able to get the turnover, so if they can continue to do that, that's going to be the key. But really, as far as stopping the run goes, obviously getting DeMarco Ryans back is going to be key there. And then when you talk about getting pressure on the quarterback, I think that a guy that kind of gets, underlooked a little bit is Brandon Bear. He's a guy that didn't even play last night. He was inactive for the game. I was kind of surprised. I was expecting him to be active for the game and play a role along that defensive line. He's a guy that can really get up there and bat down passes or even get to the quarterback. So I think when you get Bear back in there and you get DeMarco Ryans, hopefully that will help a little bit.
Yeah, that'll definitely help a little bit. But you still have the studs like Fletcher Cox. I think he got his mitts up on a pass, and Benny Logan. But the pass rush is obviously huge. The defense has played well most of the year, and we are still getting the turnovers. You just gotta hope we keep it up and get healthier as we go, and just keep that rotation going on the D line. And we do have one of the best front sevens in football, so I think our rush defense will step up in the coming weeks again.
Yeah, I mean, this Dallas offensive line, obviously the best in the league. You had last week, 2 weeks ago, Stewart pounding us. But we got some favorable matchups coming up. I don't think Miami's going to be able to run the ball with that offensive line. Tampa Bay's not going to be able to run the ball. Detroit's not going to be able to run the ball. So I think, these next 3 games you would think they're all W's, but we'll see. I mean, the Detroit game's the only one that I can see the Eagles kind of losing. I don't see them losing to the Dolphins. I don't see them losing to the Bucs. So, yeah, all right. We're pretty much nearing the end of this show. We're almost an hour in already. So I did want to throw some cute little stats out there for you guys. This is amazingly the first overtime win for the Eagles since 2004. When they beat the Cleveland Browns 34-31, October 24th of 2004. It's only the second overtime game in the Philadelphia-Dallas rivalry, which is kind of remarkable to me as well. Let's see. Dallas still leads the all-time series 64-50, and we kind of may not know this, but the Eagles have won 4 of their last 6 games. How about that? So. They're playing better, and let's see. And do I got any other cute stats? First game-winning drive for Sam Bradford since September 8th, 2013. And that's about all I got.
There you go. They got the good stats there. Another stat here is that DeMarco Murray passed 4 games here. He has 343 yards rushing and 3 TDs. So DeMarco is he's on fire the past 4 games here.
Boom.
People don't know it yet.
and some good stats. I didn't prepare anything, so I'll just go with your stats. They were lovely.
You don't need to prepare anything. You just bring the gun show. The only one that has bigger muscles than Ed Hockley.
Oh, you're making me blush.
But it's true. I mean, they're humongous.
Muscles on top of muscles, right?
On top of muscles.
I'll never forget when you first introduced me, and I said, and I was little Ray Diddy. He's like, yeah, he's not little. He's a massive, massive man. That was great.
You got muscles on top of muscles. Yo, speaking of R. Diddy, I don't know. Guys, chime in. Tell me if this is true, because last night I saw him using some pink sheets. He usually does the yellow notepad. I don't know if this is like his way of supporting breast cancer, but he was using some pink last night.
I still saw yellow in postgame though, a little bit.
Yeah. The yellow is still his go-to thing, but he's got pink sheets there. I'm like, wow, he's switching it up.
Yeah, trying to turn the luck around, I guess.
I love, man. R. Diddy. When you say stuff and he says the same things, then you're like, yeah, I know football.
When I met him last year, he totally agreed with what I said about preparing to play the Seahawks last year around this time, and I'll never forget, dude. He put a smile on my face. That I've looked up to him for so many years. The fact that he agreed with my exact thought process, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, dude, it's freaking great. I love the guy. All right, so it's getting to the point of final thoughts time. Do we want to spend final thoughts on Temple football? I know Mike's not a Temple guy, but
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we got to talk about Temple.
Temple football, dude. My favorite part of the Temple game on Saturday, well, actually it was Friday night against SMU. First of all, they won 60-40 in this crazy game in Texas. And my favorite part of the game was when Martavis Bryant scored a touchdown, and he does an end zone celebration where he's riding a bicycle and faking a punt with a fake football, and he doesn't get flagged for it, but when he gets back to the sidelines, Matt Rule gives him an earful, and right on the spot, he makes him do up downs right in the middle of the game. So that was freaking awesome. I love that. Discipline, baby. Temple top.
Oh, I mean, Matt Rule is the best coach we could have. I mean, he's really turned this program around, made Temple relevant. I mean, I absolutely love it. Having a team that's ranked and can potentially play in a New Year's Day bowl game. I mean, it's just so exciting. And we just put up a 60 spot. That's always fun to watch. Unfortunately, we gave up 40, and our defense is usually pretty stout. But and we still won the game. It's college football. Scores get high, so I'm not really too worried about it.
Yeah, and P.J. Walker just continually looking better and better. It's great. And, Memphis lost, so that means, Temple coming in, with those whatever, top 25 rankings that the committee does, I think Temple's going to be the highest-ranked team right now. So if they win their conference, we're going to Atlanta, Jeremy. We're going to go find some peaches.
Ripe peaches, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could make the trip. That'd be great.
Dude, I'm going. There's no doubt. And I think it's on New Year's Eve, too. So it's like a 1 o'clock game, I believe. Peach Bowl. It might be New Year's Day. I don't know. I don't remember. But
Nice.
But New Year's Eve in Atlanta, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I think I'm trying to get my former roommate to go. Because that's if they get to the one of those big 6 games. He was my roommate in college. He's actually from California, which is weird. Why he'd ever go to Temple when he's in Cali, all the great weather? Why would you want to move to the east? But Yeah, so I'm trying to go with him. He's actually a scout now, which is pretty crazy. He's like a soccer scout, so he goes all over the country and scouts all these players. So we're trying to meet up, spend New Year's Eve and yeah, find some peaches.
There you go. That'd be great.
Yeah. So Mike, anything you want to say for your final thoughts?
My final thoughts? Just I'm glad that we sent Greg Hardy home with a sad face. So yeah, screw that guy.
He deserves to I don't wish ill will on anybody, but he deserves to rot in hell and literally.
Dude, I will say this though. The thing that kind of pisses me off about the pictures is the fact that they finally react when they see the pictures. Like if you read the report and you read the descriptions, those pictures should not have surprised you. So why it's like the same thing with it's different than the Ray Rice thing because Ray Rice actually knocked somebody out, but this, I saw, the report. I saw what Hardy did. I knew what he did, and then to see the uproar of society saying, oh well, Dallas should have cut him on the spot, blah 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 blah. Well, if they would have just read their shit in the first place, it wouldn't have been surprising. So that's kind of how my thoughts are. And Greg Hardy's apology on Twitter was, wow, he's a piece of shit, man. He really is.
Oh. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it wasn't an apology. I mean, the guy should not be talking about how he's thankful to play in the NFL in his this apology tweet or whatever the hell it was. He doesn't feel any remorse for what he did. Probably doesn't even think that he did it. So yeah, it's just a joke. It's a real shame that so much of the game had to be focused on him and so much attention towards him, talking about him. He doesn't deserve it. So now, he's still in the league, so I guess they have to talk about it. But yeah,
I just wish his girlfriend, whoever she is now, fiance, testified against him. Why wouldn't she? She just got beat and she was pregnant, thrown on a bunch of automatic weapons. Come on, he's just trash. He doesn't deserve to live, in my opinion.
He's a despicable human being, and the Dallas Cowboys organization is just as despicable for bringing that motherfucker into the the organization. Because and for Jerry Jones to actually defend that guy.
Yeah, it's sick.
It's sickening. The fact that wins are more important. It's sickening. It's disgusting. And that's why we hate Dallas. It's one of the main reasons. This is one of the many reasons why we hate Dallas.
Yeah, they deserve to just go, lose the rest of their games. They really do. See, I hung up the shirt today for you guys. Dallas sucks.
Where's that hockey league bicep pose?
Stop it.
Oh man, but yeah, all right, yeah. It was funny because I didn't really want to talk about that today on the show, but yeah, it was good. We got our thoughts at the end there. So all right, yeah, we gave our final thoughts. We have our recap of the game. We're out of here. I think this show might be over an hour already. So we got a long one, but there was a lot to talk about. An exciting win, and before we go, I guess I'll just let you guys say whatever you guys want to say before we sign off.
Yeah, well, I mean, got some winnable games coming up, so let's hope that they can, get some W's here because they really need to get a few W's before they head into New England and really a tough part of their schedule to end the year. So really, November is where the good teams step up to the plate. So let's hope that the Eagles can do that and get ready for their tough December schedule.
Yeah, luckily we have 5 home games still left, but November and December is where champions are made. This is where teams, the hottest teams that go into the playoffs tend to, whether you're a wild card or you won your division, the hottest teams going into the playoffs tend to make it far. So this is the time we have to improve and just keep the momentum going. It's a good win.
These are 3 games that they should win. So let's make it a November to remember, and hopefully, you get hot, and you never know what happens. So there's that. There's that to look forward to, and obviously there's a lot of talent on this team. So if they can get hot, who the hell knows what happens? So yeah, there's that. Again, we talked about everything. I mean, we're closing this thing down. So make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at the Bitterbirds. We're out of here. For Jeremy Burton, Mike Owens, I'm Adrian Fedke. Go Birds, and fuck you, Greg Hardy.
Right.